Hi everyone, Leanne here from Kingdom Bloggers. So today I want to talk to you about something that I get asked all the time, like literally the number one question or complaint that I get from fellow Christian bloggers, aspiring Christian bloggers, those who are thinking about Christian blogging. How do I get traffic to my blog? If you've been doing this for a while and you're like, nobody's reading my content, I promote it and I promote it and I promote it, but I fall short of actually reaching people. Like I might get a few views the day I share it, but then nothing. So today I'm going to share with you four very specific things that you need to be doing if you want to grow your ministry and get traffic to your blog. But before we dive into that, I want to make it clear what a blog is. Many of us come into this blogging with kind of a misunderstanding of how it all works and what the purpose of a blog is. For most of us, we heard the word blog in relation to maybe celebrities have a blog, influencers that we follow might have a blog. And in that aspect, it's really more of like a personal journal, diary, just sharing of random thoughts, my personal feelings on things. The truth is, those blogs do exist, but the ones that actually get traffic are written by people or published by people who already are what we call famous, right? Like they're influencers, they're celebrities, they're maybe businesses or radio stations and things like that. For us, little people, that is not what a blog is. In the world of blogging, like in what we do as Christian content creators or just others, food bloggers, travel bloggers, things like that, it's not so much to just share my personal experience in something. It is actually meant to solve a search query, to answer the problem somebody else has and is actively looking for on Google and other search engines. It's not your personal opinion. It's not your, you know, idle musings of things like what you think or, how you feel. It's nobody cares about that, honestly. And I say that with love. When we get started in this, we feel that we're prompted to share something, like God's putting it on our heart to share something, typically based on, our own testimony or something we've experienced in life, and God has helped us through it. We want to share our testimony and things like that. But the truth is, that is not what people go to Google for. Think about what you actually go type into that Google box. And for those who may not use Google, I use the term Google as a general search platform. You may use Yahoo, Bing, DuckDuckGo, one of those other ones, whatever. So when I say Google, I mean all active like content search engines on the internet. So I might, okay, so let's talk about food blogging or travel. I might go, type in like a recipe. I need a recipe for chicken enchiladas, or how travel itinerary for Rome, Italy, or something like that. And so I'm searching for something specific, and the websites that come up, typically blogs. Now, there are some commercial sites like, airline companies, travel companies, things like that. But a lot of what shows up on page one or two or three or four are what we call blogs. They're content driven websites with content whose sole purpose is to satisfy your search query. So when we apply that to what we do as Christian content creators, we have to think in those terms. And what happens is what we feel we think people need, like I know women need this. They're not actually searching for that specific thing. And you have to kind of weed through it. And I'm going to kind of explain that in a minute to figure out what they are searching for to get them to your website. So sharing my thoughts on, a certain book that came out or my thoughts on a current event or trending topic, that's not the stuff people Google. Now that is great clickbait for social media, but that is not where we get our organic traffic from. So just to kind of put this in perspective and kind of let you know I know what I'm talking about here, for those of you who may be new to Kingdom Bloggers, I have grown three websites. One of them reaches currently about 120,000 people every single month. That is almost 90% traffic directly from Google and other search engines. Now, I do get some from social media and YouTube and things like that, but the bulk of it comes from people searching for the content that I'm writing. Nobody is searching for devotional readings. Nobody is searching for those little short bits that you publish. And so if that's what you are putting on your site, then most likely that's the reason you're not getting traffic. You're not targeting people's pain points in kind of the way they search for it on Google. So here are the four things that you need to do as a new blogger, I've been doing this for a little while blogger, but I'm not seeing any results. These are the four things that you need to do. Number one, you have to define who your target audience is. Now, a Christian's going to say, well, I'm here to share Jesus with everybody. And as a Christian, yes, you are supposed to do that. But in blogging speak in this world, you have to identify a very specific person out there that you're trying to reach. Is it a new believer? Is it maybe a non-believer and you're trying to get them to convert over and get them to understand what being a Christian's about and come over to the family? Or maybe it's for women who are already Christians and you're trying to simply help them grow stronger in their faith through short Bible study type content and things like that. Maybe you're trying to help people develop a more meaningful and active prayer life. Or maybe you're trying to help young moms uh, teach their children good Christian values, raise up godly children, and have resources to do that, right? Those are the kinds of audiences. Now, that's just a few. I mean, there's like all kinds of audiences. You could be targeting men, you could be, you know, um, but you have to identify who. And then number two, you have to go in and actually do the research in Google. Now, there's some really cool tools that you can use for that, but you have to research, like, what is my person going to Google and asking as it pertains to what I'm trying to offer them? Excuse me. So if you don't know what they're searching for on Google, how can you write content for Google for them to find, right? You got to go know what they're looking for first. So identify your audience, research your audience. Number three, you have to learn SEO. SEO is the foundation from which your content will be found. You may know who and you may know what, and you may know like who they are and what they're searching for. But if you're not understanding how SEO works, SEO is short for search engine optimization. I promise it's not scary and it's not difficult once you really understand how it works. But if you're not optimizing that content with SEO in mind, then Google's not going to allow it to show up in search results because you like SEO basically takes your content and puts it in a format that enables Google to understand what it's about, the search engine crawlers and all that. I'm not going to go too techie in this tutorial, but so when you are optimizing your content with SEO in mind, it's putting it in a format that Google understands so that it can index it and put it there in search results. It's kind of like when you write your resume. You can put all your qualifications on there, but if you don't structure it in a certain way, the way resumes look, like with bullet points and certain things in certain places, those HR software programs that you got to feed it into when you upload it to a website, it simply doesn't acknowledge that you have all the qualifications. And therefore, it's not going to send it over to the hiring manager. If you apply that same kind of correlation to writing your content, that's what SEO is. It puts it in a format that Google, the HR manager or the HR software can understand. Okay. So you have to know your audience. You have to research your audience. You have to learn SEO. And then the fourth thing is you have to publish content that satisfies the search queries of what your person is looking for online. Publishing daily devotional thoughts and all of that, that is great for social media, like publishing it literally on social media, but that is not the kind of content that helps a blog grow organically because that's just not the kind of content people are Googling. And there's a lot of great Christian writers and bloggers out there who publish beautiful devotional content on their websites. But the only time those pieces get actual traffic are the days that the link to those pieces are shared on social media. But here's the thing, social media, it's a bunch of people already following you who may or may not like, heart, comment, whatever on the post, may actually click it and link. But if you share a link to that blog post today, and let's say in a month or two, you share the link to it again, of all the people following your social media, maybe you have 50 new followers. Those 50, some of them might click that link over there, but all the others, they've already seen it. They follow you, so they've already read the post, right? And so constantly sharing, like scheduling out your blog post on like auto to continue, like sharing the link on Facebook or Twitter or wherever you're at. I mean, yeah, it can generate some residual traffic, but it's not going to be consistent and it's not going to be increasing, like growing organic. And that it's not organic. It is just people already following you. And so the key to growth, the key to reaching 10,000, 25,000, 50, or 100,000 people actually visiting your site every month is to do those four things. And I promise you it works. Kingdom Bloggers is just one of my websites. I actually have two others. Both of them are reaching about 25,000 and 40,000 respectively. But those are mine. I have a wonderful group of women who have, been part of the Kingdom Bloggers Network for a long time, who have finally reached what we call ad revenue qualification traffic, where you reach that 25,000 or 50,000 monthly views, monthly traffic. So it is possible. And the one thing they all have in common is they kind of got rid of what they thought, the mindset of what they thought blogging was, and they took the time to do the four things that I outlined today. So you have to research your audience. You have to know your audience. You have to research them, but you must learn SEO. If you don't learn what SEO is and how it works, your content's never going to reach the people. Now, I do want to kind of step off for a minute to say this, because I've had a few people over the years say this to me. Well, I don't write for Google. I write for Jesus. Well, yeah, we are all writing for God's glory. Amen. Hallelujah. But God also expects us to use the tools that he presents by way of different interactions. You've come to my channel or things. You can't do this by yourself. Yes, you have God, but God is saying, look, I'm showing you, like I'm putting these little hints of things in front of you. The internet is like Google controls that. And Google decides like the rules of how things work here. And so we are stepping into something that most Christians are still not proficient, not confident in, like because it's all techie and all that. Most of us did not go to techie kind of schools, myself included. I've kind of learned this along the way, but it's an untapped territory, uncharted territory for most Christian content creators. And the devil knows that. The enemy knows. And so don't think of it as you writing for Google. You are writing for the glory of God. You are writing to reach souls. You are writing to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. But you have to learn the rules of the road here. Because if you're not understanding the dynamics of how this works, your content will never reach the people that it is intended for. And God wants you to use your voice, your talent, your gifts in writing, your testimony to share the good news so that other people can understand how great it is to be a part of the family of God, right? And so please don't ever think of it as writing for Google and it's too formal. You're simply a good example of this. I kind of forgot this. So in church on Sundays, right? Most churches have Sunday school. So it's like the fifth grade and below kids. And even over there, you have, the fifth graders versus say the 3 and 4 year olds. And then down the hall, we have grown up church. And then on Wednesday nights, you have your middle and high school. I think that's pretty typical for a lot of churches, regardless of your denomination. That's the way a lot of them work. So the topic, the message itself, whatever the purpose of the message is going to be taught the same in all classrooms, whether it's grown up, whether it's the little kids down the hall, or whether on Wednesday it's with middle and high schools. However, we are not going to play the Sunday sermon that was directed to us grown-ups. We're not going to play that on Wednesday night to some middle and high school kids. Why? Because they're like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. Like, whatever. No, we're going to get a youth pastor who's going to translate the message into verbiage, into application that those kids understand. And then again, in Sunday school with the little kids, whether they're fifth graders or, preschool, pre-K, whatever, we're going to translate the message into words and things like that age group can understand. So what we're doing when we learn and apply SEO, we're not writing for Google. We are translating our message that what God has asked us to share. We are translating it into a format that is understood by the internet. So if you think of it in that context, you're not writing for Google. But back to my original point of this video, if you want to truly reach people with your blog, and by reach people, I mean reach new people, these are the 4 things that you need to do. And I promise if you do them, you will start seeing organic growth. And this is going to lay the foundation if your eventual goal is to build an email list, to monetize your blog via affiliate marketing, or maybe you want to create your own digital products and all those things. That foundation of reaching people organically is going to put all the rest of that on autopilot. So I hope this made some sense. I hope this kind of gave you maybe an aha moment as to why your content's not reaching anybody. The one thing the term I like to say I dislike the most is promoting. They say, Leanne, how do I promote my blog so more people will read it? I say, stop promoting it. Promoting it is constantly going out there and saying, hey, read my blog. Hey, read my blog. That's promoting. If you learn SEO and you've done the research on your target audience, you don't have to promote anything. Your content is going to be found because it's optimized to be found. Okay. All right, everyone, that's all I have for today. If you have any questions at all, drop your comments below or hop over to my Facebook group. That link is below as well. As always, please like this video, follow us here at Kingdom Bloggers, and I would love to hear anything you have to say. And if you start experiencing that growth, please, please, please share it with us because we love to celebrate more people on the internet finding Jesus. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week and God bless. Bye-bye.